Socket.io comes in two distinct parts. One, a server that mounts on the Node.js HTTP server, and two, a client library that loads on the browser side. The first step in using Socket.io is to install it. So firstly we'll go back to terminal or a command prompt. npm, so that's the Node.js package manager. Install Socket.io, save, so it adds to dependencies. Loads of things in, and notice how in our dependencies it's now added Socket.io and the version number. And if we look at our Node modules, you'll see that Socket.io and its client and various other folders have been added now to our Node modules folder. So we're all ready to use it. Before we can use it on the client side, you need to ensure that that line's in there. You might be wondering where Socket.io is going to come from, but the server itself is going to supply it. So although there is no folder from the index.html file called socket.io, there will be when the app's running, at least as far as the client's concerned. In our app, we're going to add a new line here, which is to require Socket.io passing it our HTTP server. Now before we start listening on the HTTP, we're going to use the instance of Socket. Oh, that won't do, will it? We're going to use the instance of Socket.io that we've just created and the on method, on connection, pass it a function, has a single parameter which is socket, and all we're going to do at this stage is just log that a user's connected. Okay, so that deals with the server side. On the client side, I'm going to add a new bit of script. Here we're going to create a socket simply by calling the IO method. So now back to our terminal and run the app. It's listening on a port. Going to refresh it, and you'll see now that it's added the line a user connected. So when we ran that, it created a socket. Just the sheer action of calling that one line there. In the server, this happened. Our Socket.io instance on the server got a connection. The connection was this socket here, and so we ran a console log to say that a user's connected. As well as connecting, they can also disconnect. And that applies to the socket that's been passed into this function. And if we log that and we check that, first of all, Control-C to terminate it, and then Node app.js to run it again. It's listening on port. We'll refresh it a couple of times. And you can see that a user connected, then disconnected, connected, disconnected, connected, disconnected, and connected. So both connection and disconnection is working fine. Now we've got 2 tabs running, and you'll see that in terminal we've now got 2 users connected. There's not been a user disconnected. So a user's connected and a user's connected. We have 2 users connecting. Add another tab. Go back. Now we have 3 users connected. Okay, we're making progress. So quick pause there and I'll see you in a minute. This video is part of a Udemy course. To get the full course at a great discount, pull down the description and click the link.